Okay, well, I'd like to welcome you to another You Can Tube front page video accelerator. My name is Dave Striegel. I'm going to be your host and guide as we continue to move through this course and beyond. We're starting module 3 right now, which is all about creating and crafting your outline or your script for your videos. And I'm going to be helping you all along in this process. So don't worry if you don't consider yourself a writer. I've provided a script generator outline for you in this resource section for this module that's going to be able to help you to put this plan into action quickly. So if you've never written a script before, this is really going to help you organize your thoughts into the proper structure for your video speech. Just think of it just like a speech that you have to give, and we got to write an outline, and then we're going to add into the outline the exact words that we want to use. So if you haven't grabbed the outline yet from the resources, right now I'd like you to go there and do that. Open it up, print it out, so that we can follow along together and make this process go as easy for you as possible. And don't forget to save this outline in your files for future reference so that it's handy every time that you want to make a new video. Just remember, you're always going to have access to these modules and all the resources and the recordings so that you can come back at any time and refresh, okay? So while you take a moment to grab that outline, I just wanted to acknowledge you again for stepping up and working to move your business forward. And I consider it a privilege to be working with you on this very important project. And I'm really honored that you chose me to help you along the way. And I'm so glad that you're following through on your commitment to video. I've seen firsthand how powerful this media can be in my own business. And I really can't wait to hear from you down the road about how it's helping you too. So whether it's giving you a new confidence when you're talking to your customers, like, I've seen this in my own life, just by learning how to smile more and be a little bit more animated and expressive, it's helped me a lot in my business, or how it's been able to steer more new customers your way. And again, this has helped me in my business too. So hang in there with me. We're just getting started in the work part. And yes, there is some work involved here. I'm not saying it's going to be hard, but just like anything else, you're only going to get out of this effort what you put into it. So in the last module, we talked about all of the keyword research that's absolutely necessary to build an effective video campaign. So I want you to think of it this way. You wouldn't just jump in a car and start driving to your vacation destination without planning your route first, right? So video is the same way. If you expect to get where you want to go, you got to take that all-important and very necessary time to figure out which keywords you want to get this video ranked for before you start. Lack of planning usually ends up with pretty poor results. And what we're doing here is what I call video with a purpose. So hopefully by now you've got your first video style locked in from the first module, and you've already written your top 10 questions that you get asked by your customers and your keyword list from the second module. And then you match them up and research that keyword to find out which matching words go with your main keyword. So now that you've got a really clear picture of which video you're ready to start writing a script for, I want to go ahead and get started. So we're going to dive into the outline process, and we're going to move right to the script generator. So let me pull that up for you. There we go. Hope everybody can see that good. In fact, I'm going to make that just a little bit bigger. Great. Okay, so this is the You Can Tube video script generator. So the first thing that we need to do is come up with a title for this video. And one of the things that you have to understand about YouTube is a lot of what people search for there starts with how to and what is. Now, we're not doing videos that are necessarily going to get found on YouTube. We're doing videos that want to get found on Google. So the how to and the what is, these are what's called video descriptors, and Google pays a lot of attention to these. So if your title has those or has those words in it, like how to, chances are Google's going to figure that it's suitable for video search, and they're pretty likely to display it on a Google search as well. So the title of the video should include your target keyword as close to the beginning as possible. And there should only be one main keyword per video. So if we're going to take a video example, like say I was going to write a video script on wheel alignment. I'm going to stay within my industry and just show you how I would do one for wheel alignment. The first and the last sentence needs to contain that target keyword. So the first sentence of the video should have wheel alignment in it, and the last sentence of the whole video should have wheel alignment in it. And that's going to, kind of set that keyword as our main keyword. Now, if you've got a local brick and mortar business like I do, you should also include a locality reference like Elizabeth, PA. So an example of this might be, if I was going to write a title for this video, I would probably write something like, let's do that. Let's type it in right here. Wheel alignment. Are you getting what you paid for when you, how about when, let me fix this, for when having your car aligned in Elizabeth, PA. So that might be my video title, Wheel Alignment. Are you getting what you paid for when having your car aligned in Elizabeth, PA? So let's talk about this for a little bit. I'm using my main keyword, which is wheel alignment, and I want that to show up in the beginning of the title, as far in the beginning as possible. It doesn't have to be the first word, but think of it this way. I would rather have it show up, if this title was going to take up one whole line, I want it to be in the first half of the line over here and not in the last half of the line, ideally. So you want to kind of configure this title so that wheel alignment, or your keyword title, is going to show up pretty close to the beginning of the title. So what I've started to do on a lot of these is I might actually start my title out with my keyword. So wheel alignment dash, are you getting what you paid for when having your car aligned in Elizabeth, PA? So you'll notice that I didn't put in, the how-to or anything like that. That's not absolutely necessary. It's just an idea. If you can get it in with your topic or your video topic, that's great. Use it whenever possible. I'm just trying to give you as many ideas as possible when you're trying to figure this stuff out. So, we're going to use the video title, Wheel Alignment. Are you getting what you paid for when having your car aligned in Elizabeth, PA? Now you'll notice that I used wheel alignment and I used car aligned. I varied the keyword a little bit, and you can do that in your title, and I strongly recommend it. So if I'm going to start out with wheel alignment, I want to kind of repeat that keyword, but maybe pick up a way that someone might type it in that might not be wheel alignment. So not everyone's going to type in wheel alignment. There's a lot of what we call ancillary or supportive keywords, and that's why we did the research before. And then you'll notice at the very end we have Elizabeth, PA. That's my locality, so that when someone is searching locally in Google, I'm going to show up. So I'm pretty much indexing this video to show up in local Google search. Okay, so that's our title. And the main keyword, like I said, is wheel alignment. And I did my research, like we talked about in previous module, going into Google AdWords, doing a little bit of keyword research and find out what are some of the complementary keywords that would show up with that one, so that we can make sure that we're going to put those and pepper those into the video for proper ranking. So what I found when I did that, I typed in to my Google AdWords account wheel alignment, and I was looking for additional related keywords. Firestone came up with 550,000 views per month, which is a lot of views. But my wheel alignment keyword only came up with 22,000 views per month. Now that's okay. I don't want to get ranked for Firestone because I'm not a Firestone store. But I do want to get ranked for wheel alignment. So I want to look at related keywords that might help this video get found when someone types in my keyword plus a related keyword. So what we're doing is borrowing on the search strength of other keywords. And I want to look at, I want to know what my keyword, how many views per month it's getting, 22,000. That's okay. It's not a really highly rated keyword, but it's mainly because that's my industry. I really can't change how many people are looking for that, but that's a profitable job for us. So I'm making videos so that my shop gets found on the most profitable jobs that we do first. I can always fill in the least profitable ones later, but it's not that we make a whole lot of money on alignments, but the service work that comes in with the alignments is very profitable. So that's why we're doing one for wheel alignments. Now, I don't want to bash Firestone in my video, but I might want to try and cash in on how popular their searches are. So I could throw in, the Firestone name into my CC or closed captioning during my intro bumper. Remember when I said that while the music is playing for the intro bumper, there's really no words going on? We can put those into the closed captioning. I can put something in there like, instead of visiting a chain store like Goodyear, Firestone, NTB, things like that, I can put those into the closed captioning even though I didn't say it. Now, Firestone's never going to know that it's there, but Google will, and they're the ones that matter. So there's some other useful keywords here too, like tires or tire. And another one would be front wheel alignment. And another one would be four-wheel alignment. So remember when we were talking about, doing the research, if I hadn't thought about these other variations of wheel alignment, front wheel alignment and four-wheel alignment, I might neglect to put them in there and just assume that, because I'm in the industry, everybody knows this stuff, but they don't. So this is where we have to, be very specific, find these related keywords, and put them into our videos, just kind of peppered throughout the text. So if I'm going to use one like four-wheel alignment as an example, I may want to say that word more than twice so that I can put it into my closed captioning and the video description as the letters four, F-O-U-R, and the number 4. Because somebody might type in the number four-wheel alignment, and someone else might type in the letters four-wheel alignment. Google's not going to make the connection. So I want to be very specific about that. So that's just an example of how I want to make sure that I'm describing them properly. And I also found when I was doing the research, the tire shop also ranks pretty high. Now, as I go down the list a little bit further, there's a bunch of related keywords that are just not relevant to me. But the searches per month numbers really start to drop off for other words like tire alignment and car alignment. It's really not what we would consider an industry standard word, but some people might say it. But I can have those words in the body of the video just to cover them anyways. They may not be together like, car alignment right next to each other, but they might be used in the same sentence like alignment for your car, and that's going to work. I mean, they're going to be close enough related that if somebody did type in car alignment, we should get indexed for that. And this is why it's so useful to do your research. You might forget to place these very important ancillary keywords if you just winged it, right? Okay. So now that we've got our video title down, and now we want to move into the first sentence. And the first sentence really needs to be able to grab and hold somebody's attention. You want to ask a probing question. You want to get somebody, I don't necessarily want to shock them, but I want to intrigue them. So if I'm asking a question that would make them think like, yeah, I'd want to know that. Or maybe tell them what the video is about and why they should keep watching. So an example of, excuse me, an example of how this might work. Let me pull this up. Okay, so we've got it on the screen right now. So the opening line, I put 3 examples here for you. They're just variations. It's a way for you to kind of ease your way into the video. Now remember, we want to either ask a probing question or say something that's going to kind of spark their interest, or make them mildly like, oh yeah, I didn't know that. So let's take the first one as an example, and I'm going to use my keyword as I read into it. So the first one is, have you ever wondered how to get, and then we would put in the keyword wheel alignment. Have you ever wondered how to get a wheel alignment in Elizabeth, PA without getting taken advantage of? Hi, I'm Dave Striegel, owner of the Elizabeth Auto Care, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Stay tuned. Or maybe the next one is, finding a good wheel alignment you can trust in Elizabeth, PA can be hard unless you know exactly what to look for. I'm Dave Striegel, owner of the Elizabeth Auto Care, and in this video, I'm going to tell you the top 3 mistakes most people make when looking to get their car aligned and how you can avoid them. And then the last one might be, looking for a wheel alignment in Elizabeth, PA? Hi, I'm Dave Striegel, owner of the Elizabeth Auto Care, and you're in the right place because in this video, I'm going to show you the 2 most important things to watch for in a good wheel alignment and the 1 big mistake that could end up costing you double. So that's an example of how we would introduce this video. So I want to kind of catch someone's attention, and I want to give them an idea that when they typed in the search words wheel alignment, that right away we're going to be saying wheel alignment. We definitely want to make sure that they know they're in the right place. We don't want to dupe them. We don't want to try and entice them in to watch a video that's not related to what they're looking for. They're just going to bounce right off. It's not going to help us at all. So I want to make sure that they know right away when they get here that this is what it's going to be about. And the reason I do this is there's so many YouTube videos out there that I'll click on, and they take forever to get into the body of what they want to talk about. They'll say, hi, this is so-and-so, and I just wanted to make a nice little video, and one of the things that I really like about, all that stupid rambling that's going on, look, just get to the point, let me know this is the right place, and then they're going to stay and watch the video. So that's the idea, is, repeat what the keyword is, make sure you let them know that this is what it's going to be about, and intrigue them at the same time. So if I was going to use this for, let's use carpet cleaning for an example. Have you ever wondered how to get your carpets cleaned in Elizabeth, PA without getting taken advantage of? Hi, I'm Dave Striegel, owner of Elizabeth Carpet Cleaning, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, so stay tuned. Or finding a good carpet cleaner you can trust in Elizabeth, PA can be hard unless you know exactly what to look for. I'm Dave Striegel, owner of Elizabeth Carpet Cleaning, and in this video, I'm going to tell you the top 3 mistakes most people make when looking to get their carpets cleaned and how you can avoid them. So you see how this works? You can use this and modify it no matter what industry you're in or what kind of video you want to make. Just change the words around to fit a little bit. These are really just examples to kind of get your creative juices going so that you don't end up with that dreaded writer's block. It's so frustrating when, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a video, and you got a blank piece of paper and nothing's coming. The whole reason I wrote this generator for you was it's to help spark those words, to get these things going for you. So I hope that you can use these 3 examples. Use them word for word if you want. I mean, they're great examples. You can modify them. You can combine them. If you like the words from one and you like words from another one, take 2 or 3 and make one good one. However it's going to help you, that's the whole idea. I just want you to get started so that you don't get caught up in the very beginning trying to figure this out. Okay, so I hope that helps you. And then as soon as we move from, the introduction, that first sentence, then we're going to drop right into what's called an intro bumper. Now, I think I'll add a separate bonus video to this training course to be able to show you how to do the intro bumper in iMovie. I know it might sound a little bit scary to do, but it's really not hard at all, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, and you'll really be amazed at how simple this really is. So I'm not going to take the time in this video to actually create that. I'll do that in a bonus video for you. So don't worry too much about that just yet, okay? So the intro bumper goes right after the attention grabber sentence, the very first sentence. And we only want the intro bumper to be about 5 to 15 second maximum. We want to be able to get into the body of the video as quickly as possible. But we're using the intro bumper as kind of a branding tool. One of the things that, typically as small business owners, we can't take advantage of is branding. We're not Nike, we're not Pepsi or Coke. We can't afford to spend millions of dollars on an ad campaign just to put our name out there. So every chance that we get on free medium like YouTube, we might as well take advantage of it. And the intro bumper kind of adds the next level of professionalism when we're talking about creating a video. And it really sets you apart from the amateurs. And there's a lot of them out there. So the bar's set pretty low. We don't need to go too high, but this intro bumper is really going to help you stand out from the crowd. And then as we move into the body of the outline, we want to make sure that it stays pretty short. So we only want a few key points here, and we want those relating to the main search keyword. So you want to be able to give the content that they're looking for. If they typed in the keyword wheel alignment, I want to make sure that in the body of the video, we're talking about wheel alignments. I don't want them to feel like, hey, he misdirected me. I don't want that feeling out there that I duped them. So I'm going to give them the content they're looking for, and it's going to be short and to the point. Really about 1.5 to 2 minutes is good. Overall length of this whole video might only be 2 to 3 minutes total. So between the introduction, like the first sentence that we're going to say, and then the intro bumper, and then the body, and then the closing, we're talking about a 2 to 3 minute video here. So we're not going to get really involved into the main body of the video. We want it to be short, concise, to the point, and really give them a quick idea of what they came here to find out. So let's go ahead and put some of these things in this section. And we're going to carry on with the alignment video that we talked about, just to give me an idea of what I might write. And it really might, the body of the video might depend on the opening sentence. So the opening sentence, I gave you a few examples. One was, the first one, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. The second one was top 3 mistakes most people make. And the third one was 2 most important things to watch for, and the 1 big mistake that could end up costing you double. So you really want to have, the opening sentence for the body to reflect what your opening sentence for the video said. So I was using, we'll just use the top 3 mistakes to avoid as my alignment video example. Now I want you to understand that most people are usually driven more by the fear of making a mistake than the knowledge of how to avoid it. So that kind of plays in the marketing thing. I just wanted to throw that into your basket of knowledge there. That's why, a lot of the television shows that I did, they're going to be related to the top 3 mistakes that you want to avoid when you take your car to a mechanic or something like that. So let's assume we're going to be doing the top 3 mistakes to avoid. We're going to need a bridge sentence between the intro bumper and the main body. I need a way to kind of, we said the first sentence of the video, then we went into an intro bumper, and now you're back up on the screen again. We need a way to segue into the main body, the top 3 mistakes. So I need a sentence that's going to kind of, buffer that point between that intro bumper and now the main body. So saying something like, I know how scary it can be to, trying to navigate through the maze of car repair shops. So let me give you what I believe are the 3 most important mistakes to avoid when you're looking for a good wheel alignment. Mistake number 1, falling for a free alignment deal. And here's where I would write these in. If I was writing my outline, we got our intro bumper, we got our main body, which is going to be 2 to 3 points. And now point 1 is going to be falling for a free wheel alignment. And then in here I can type in the other points that I want to make. So if I was going to, bullet point this out, I can throw my bullets in here. There we go. So point 1, falling for a free wheel alignment. So I might write something like, I see this all the time with 4 new tires at the tire shops and chains, or with lifetime alignments. Okay, so you can see how the body of this outline starts coming together. So if I'm going to have 3 points or 3 mistakes to avoid, the first one's going to be falling for a free wheel alignment. And then I'm going to have a couple of follow-up bullets underneath there to just explain what I'm talking about. And if my second mistake was going to be using a shop that's not using digital alignment equipment, I would write that as my second mistake here. Using a shop that's not using digital alignment. I'll fix that in a second. Equipment. So the nice thing about Word is if you just right click on what's red underlined, it'll bring up examples of the correct spelling. Boom, autocorrect, and away we go. So you don't have to be a great English major to figure all this stuff out. Word's going to help you with it. And then I might have a couple of bullets underneath here that are going to help outline this out. Okay, and so we're talking about the second mistake, which is using a shop that's not using digital alignment equipment. And I might have as my first bullet, all modern alignment machines made in the last 10 years are using digital cameras to accurately detect the slightest problems at each wheel. Now I don't need to go through and write this whole outline for you. I'm just trying to give you an idea of this is how I would do it when I'm using this script generator, so that you're not starting with a blank template. You've actually got a way to just start throwing this outline together. Now the outline, that could just be rough words, and when you look at those rough words when you're actually going to shoot the video, you know your industry well enough. You know how to talk to customers. These words should kind of spark immediately what you need to say. I mean, these are all points that I would use at the front counter when I'm talking to a customer. And the third point here might be not getting a color printout, because we push this a lot at the front counter. If you'll notice, the mistakes that people make are mistakes that we never make. So it's kind of like pointing out what the competition's doing that we're not doing. So these are examples of things that they don't really know it yet necessarily, or they don't know why they haven't been happy in the past. I'm pointing these things out to them so that they start looking at them and thinking, yeah, I didn't get a printout of my wheel alignment last time, and I was wondering because, how do you know if anything got done or not when they aligned the vehicle? But if I give them the printout of before and after, they've got it right there in front of them. So I'm just trying to give them an idea of the things to watch out for that I know my competition is doing, that they're not going to get troubled with when they come to my shop. So if you want to look at it this way, it's kind of a commercial for your facility. I'm pointing out the things that would irritate them once they got there. Falling for a free wheel alignment. These are all examples of things that I've seen in our industry that really have a tendency to irritate customers. And so let me go through this, real quick. I've written an outline. Excuse me. I've written an outline for you, and I'm going to read them through. And the one thing I want you to understand is I went through and did my keyword research. I found my related keywords, and I told you what some of those were, and I want you to see how I peppered them throughout the body of this. So I'm going to read this and ding a bell every time I say a keyword. And I'm going to start out with the opening sentence for the body as we're moving into the intro bumper. So I know how scary it can be trying to navigate through the maze of car repair shops. So let me give you what I believe are the 3 most important mistakes to avoid when you're looking for a good wheel alignment. Mistake number 1, falling for a free alignment deal. I see this all the time with 4 new tires at tire shops and chains, or with lifetime alignments. An alignment done right usually takes an hour or more, so how can they afford to give that away? Well, the reality of this situation is they plan on selling you something that you may not need to make up for this freebie. So when you see this kind of unbelievable deal, run. It's going to cost you more than you expected. So mistake number 2, using a shop that's not using digital alignment equipment. All modern alignment machines made in the last 10 years are using digital cameras to accurately detect the slightest of adjustments or adjustment problems at each wheel. So whether it's a 2-wheel alignment or a 4-wheel alignment, every wheel needs to be accurately measured. So if your mechanic is still using the old string or laser method, that's old technology and most likely not calibrated or updated regularly. Now, cars these days demand very tight tolerances, and older machines just can't keep up. So mistake number 3, not getting a color printout of your alignment. Again, modern equipment is capable of printing out the before and after specs of your car, truck, or SUV. So if you're not getting this printout in an easy to visualize fashion that even the most novice driver can understand, along with a down-to-earth explanation of what was wrong, like how it was affecting your tire wear and which adjustments were made and why. How do you know they even bothered to do anything? The proof is in the printout, and we keep them digitally stored in our computer, so the next time your car comes in for a regular alignment, we'll be able to see how much has changed over time. So that would be the body of my video, right? Now, I did time that out, and it's coming in somewhere around 1 minute and 45 seconds. Remember, we're trying to make a 2 to 3 minute video here, so that's a perfect amount of words and content to really kind of steer the customer into thinking that, hey, these are things that I want to avoid, and if I was going to call a tire shop, I might want to ask these 3 questions. Now, if you'll notice, that was over 12 different variations of my keyword and supporting keywords that I used in there, and that was the ding every time. Now, I want you to be aware, you don't want to just keyword stuff. That's an industry term, keyword stuffing. So I used all of those keywords in good English format, and they read and speak normally without feeling like I'm stuffing them in there. Google's not stupid. You need to repeat your keywords so that they understand that that's what you're trying to get ranked for, but you want to do it judiciously. Okay, so that is our main body, and now we want to close this out, our call to action. We want to tell them what to do next. We want to give them multiple forms of contact. We want to ask for likes and subscribes and comments. Remember, these are things that help our videos rank higher in the search terms. So we want to ask for things like that. So the closing, might sound something like this. And at the bottom of the script generator, you'll see the closing here. So the basic script closing is stop into blank blank. That's your business name. I would say Elizabeth Auto Care at, my full address. I'm going to say my full address. And give us a call at, and I'm going to say my full phone number with my area code. Or visit our website to find out more about how you can find, put the keyword in there, you can trust in Elizabeth, PA. That would be the insert for your town and state. Thanks for watching. I'll talk with you real soon. So let me read that out to you, what that might sound like. So, and I want to kind of to move into it. So if you enjoyed this quick video, please leave us a comment or question below, like this video, and subscribe to our channel to stay connected. So stop into Elizabeth Auto Care at 274 Lovedale Road, Elizabeth, PA 15037, or give us a call at 412-384-7700, or visit our website to find out more about how you can find a great wheel alignment you can trust in Elizabeth, PA. Thanks for watching. I'll talk with you real soon. So those are examples of how you would write a script to open the video, throw your intro bumper in there, move into the main body, your 2 or 3 points that you're going to use, and now you're closing. So I wanted to provide as much of the rough detail in there for you as possible. You can really just take this script and throw your words in here, and here's a video for it. The only thing you really have to write is the body. I can't write your body for you. That is your industry. That's your shop. Wherever you're working, whatever customers you're dealing with, it's really going to depend on what you do, who you're targeting, and how you want to try and attract them. Now at the bottom of this script generator, I've also put a quick reference here for you. So if you print this out, keep this handy, keep it on your desktop. It's going to go back into all these quick bullet points to remind you. The title of the video should include the target keyword as close to the beginning as possible. Only one main keyword per video. The first and last sentence must contain the target keyword. If you're a local brick and mortar business, you should have that locality reference in there, and then so on. You can, read all the bullet points. I wanted to put them on there for you so that you have a handy reference when you start to write your script. And as we were running through that, the script generator, I hope that you noticed how easy that was. I mean, when I spent in preparation of this, just putting together what video that I wanted to do, the keyword research, coming up with a video title, coming up with that entry, line coming into the main body out of the intro bumper. And just as a side note, that intro bumper you can use for every one of your videos. You only got to create it once. So it's an easy drag and drop right into your video. So when we were talking about, the the line that we're going to use going into the body, and then putting the body bullet points together and figuring out what I was going to say, I really only had about 20 minutes time in there. And I know my industry very well, so it's really not hard for me to take a look at, here's the keyword I want to do, wheel alignment. What do I normally say at the front counter when I'm talking to a customer? Well, I'm usually talking about this, this, and this. Okay, well, I'll write those down in my outline. So how do I want to support the first one? Okay, well, it might be, this sentence and this sentence. We don't need a whole lot of content here. We just want to make it very clear, short, and to the point. And you know your industry. You're the expert in your industry. So I know we covered a lot of ground in this module, but I really need you to stay focused and keep moving forward. I know you can do this. All you have to do is implement with the tools that I give you, like the script generator that we just talked about, and then use your own years of experience with your topic to be able to educate your prospective customers, just like you would in your business. But remember, video is marketing, and we need to pay special attention to all the marketing principles that this outline contains, like an attention-grabbing headline, the body, which is going to give them the information that they want, and then a good call to action at the end. So these are all key components of any important marketing piece. So as we're working through these modules and beyond, I encourage you to engage with your fellow UCAN tubers in our private Facebook group page. Ask questions in that forum. Get help from your fellow tubers. And even me, as I pop in there to help out too. Post any of your videos there to get their opinions and their views. And do everyone a favor by putting good comments on their videos in YouTube. And don't forget about the likes and the shares. Likes are really easy to do. All you gotta do is click that like button. But it means so much. Now remember, these actions are really important to YouTube rankings, and they're going to help everybody else in their video positioning. So engage the community on a regular basis. Now, I found in my life the best way to get help is to give it first. And this is a great way to give by helping someone else in this video community. So in the next module, we're going to be covering everything that you need to know about the actual shooting of your video, from the background to the equipment. How we set the audio up, the lighting, the script monitor, and even the acting, how to set it up and what you need to know to make it all work for you. And remember, you can always come back to these videos again and again. You can just follow along and do the work. You push pause on the video, do what you need to do, push play, and then move on to the next one. So all I want you to do is watch what I'm doing, and you'll be all set with the videos. They're going to work, and you're going to be getting better every single time that you do them. So please feel free to post any comments about this video in the box below, and let me know what you thought of it. Did it help clarify some of the questions that you have, or or maybe a fresh idea popped into your head. I'd really appreciate your input, so let me know, okay? And I'll see you on the next module.